We are getting way behind schedule.
Losers match. Okay, so this is the losers match between Hiya and Modesty on the electric circuit again. And there's the potential that this might be the last Brood War game that Hiya ever plays. Yeah, it's kind of depressing. You never really get that kind of situation where you can cast a game and say this is going to be the last game that this player will ever play. Because most players will just announce their retirement out of the blue. Or you might see it coming, but you don't know exactly when it's going to be here. But wait a second, they don't even have... They already pressed accept! Okay, I'm going to have to do the mineral thing again, guys. Mineral. Now we got to get some more to sync up. Get Modesty off the screen. I got to sync this thing up with some minerals. Mineral. Mineral. There we go. Mineral. And yeah. Great new syncing method. But Hiya was over at the 2 o'clock position. At the 10 o'clock position, in red, was Modesty, scudding down the wrong direction to the 8 o'clock. But both these guys in the losers match. Loser of this obviously gets knocked out of the OSL. Winner moves on to the final set versus Harangue. There's the famous Hiya holding up his trap card. Did I commentate that game? I remember it awfully vividly, but he beat a player and then out of nowhere he pulls out these freaking Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I think. He's like, you've activated my trap card. Hiya is well known for his ridiculous nonsense. That is why I gave him the title of Rafflecopter after Gogo was forced out because of the match fixing scandal. But after Gogo was out, I said, well, the obvious heir to this throne is Hiya. Because he's such a ridiculous player, both in the pro gaming booth and out, and marching into other opponents' pro gaming booths with a drum, like he did versus Jaedong. When he beat Jaedong in an OSL, he pulled out a drum, a big drum, and he started drumming and walking over to Jaedong's booth. It was hilarious. He just walked inside the booth, and Jaedong seemed kind of amused. Obviously, he had just lost the game, so he didn't feel that great. But seeing a giant drum and big grin on Hiya's face, I think perked him up a bit. So Hiya, well known for doing stuff like that outside of the ring, so to speak. But inside the ring, he does some ridiculous nonsense as well. His epic MSL game versus Free, which I think was voted by Team Liquid as the best MSL game ever, and their kind of MSL tribute thread. But there's Modesty trying to get down that SCV. SCV safely behind the wall, though, so that thing's going to be okay. Got down to half health. But the Free versus Hiya game, legendary. Absolutely legendary. It involved arbiters and lockdown, just everything you can think of. I think nukes were involved. There's this craziness everywhere. Hiya ended up losing that game, but he put up a hell of a fight against Free. Okay, let's check out what's going on inside the base of the factory. Coming up already for Hiya, got the 3 SCVs on the refinery. So he's getting lots and lots of gas for a possible mech opening. Well, he's definitely going to start off with some vulture harassment. But where he branches off from there is anyone's guess, because this is Hiya we're talking about. Rafflecopter Master. Thought we had lost the Rafflecopter forever. Glad to see him back, at least for a few games. If he can break through into the round of 16, that would be a thing of legend again. But I think that Hiya, he's building a bunker outside of this natural expansion just as it was built. That's kind of ridiculous, so he's definitely going to have to, well, maybe he might have to cancel that, but he's still building the bunker right outside of this natural. It had already popped, but he got it right next to the creep. He's trying to get close with his Marines. Got a couple Marines out front, just a few Marines. Going to get surrounded, though, it seems, by the Zerglings. Zerglings can't quite get close enough. 1 Marine left. Looks like it is going to be taken down. And the bunker going to have to be canceled. So that was a nice, edgy little attack from Hiya. Just trying to keep up as much pressure as he can with this kind of mech opening. Going for the starport now. Could be 2-port Wraith. Haven't seen the second starport yet, though. But here comes a Vulture moving out into the middle of the map. Going to try to break through into the main and get a lot of drone kills. I don't see the no machine shop yet for Hiya. Let's see what he starts building now. Command center to float over to his natural. And just the one starport, it looks like. But, yeah, the Zergling picking at the front. There are no defenses at their front at all for Hiya except for his Vulture. And I think he already has a Vulture out. That's not the same Vulture that was in the middle of the map earlier, hanging outside the natural expansion now. The observers aren't looking at it for some reason, but there is the Vulture trying to sneak inside of the main. Sees the Hydralisk Den up front. Modesty is preparing for a mech build. Going for the Hydralisk Den first, wants to get out Hydras to deal with any incoming Wraiths or any mech troops that are out in the map. There's that 2 Vultures have gotten inside the main now. They could cause so much damage to Modesty. Yeah, I think a lot of drones are going to go down before any Hydras can be pumped. But there's a Wraith coming out of the starport. Just one starport still for Hiya, I think. Yeah, but he is going to be on the way with Wraiths. They're not going to be cloaked or anything, and he's not going to have a large number of them, but still, Wraiths to continue this harassment. But now Modesty is chasing away these Vultures with just a few Hydras, chasing those back, cornering them in this position, so they should have no trouble taking them out, unless this Vultures can sneak by again. Nope, not able to sneak by. But the machine shop and the control tower coming up for Hiya. And who knows what he's going to do next. He's got one Wraith. One Wraith probably not going to get too much done. I mean, it's one Wraith, after all. It's going to die almost immediately, and it's going to take a lot of shots to take down even one drone. But it will provide a little bit of harassment here anyway. Trying to get into Modesty's head a bit. Modesty does snipe the Wraith, so the Wraith, the one single Wraith that was out, I didn't see any other pumped for Hiya. That's going to be the end of the Wraiths. Okay, I think the second refinery is getting ready to be taken at the second base. See the science facility already. To get out the vessels and work on the armor upgrades, probably. We got the tank at the front, and some more Marines being pumped, I think? Unless those Marines were hanging outside, inside the main, rather. But it's possible that Hiya is continuing his medic and marine production. Might be trying to work up to bio, because he's already working on the science vessels, getting out the science vessels to help out with a push. So it is definitely possible that he can continue switch back into bio off of this. Yeah, the academy coming up, so he is going into bio, getting up the engineering bay as well for the +1 upgrade.